I found a hidden camera in my house at Christmas, and it was my sister trying to spy on me. I know, it sounds insane. A plot twist straight out of a thriller, right? But it's true. And if I'm being honest, the shock wasn't just finding the camera. It was realizing the betrayal came from someone who was supposed to have my back, someone I trusted with my life, my sister. It all started with the holidays, as it always does. Christmas, the time of year when everyone's supposed to come together, laugh, eat too much, and pretend like everything's perfect. That's what I thought, anyway. But for me, Christmas always had this undercurrent of tension. Maybe it was just family dynamics, the unspoken weight that hangs in the air when you've known people your whole life. Whatever the reason, I didn't expect it to be this bad. I'd just gotten married, and we were hosting our first Christmas at the house Emma and I had bought together. It was a big deal. My parents were coming, and for once, everything felt like it was falling into place. Emma was excited. My parents were thrilled, and even my cousins were looking forward to the day. Everyone was coming over. Everyone except my sister Jess. Jess and I hadn't been close in a while. I don't know when it started, but somewhere along the way we drifted apart. She'd always been the fun one, the life of the party, the one who was always the center of attention. Me, I was the quiet one, the thinker. But it wasn't until recently that I started to realize how much I'd stopped being a priority in her life. She'd always been unpredictable, showing up late, canceling plans, stirring up drama when things got too calm. But for Christmas, I thought maybe we could patch things up. I called her a few days before, just to check in, and she was distant, too distant. It was the kind of coldness that lingered, that said, I don't want to be here. Still, I was hopeful she'd come around. Christmas has a way of pulling people back together, right? So Emma and I started getting everything ready. The house was decorated, lights strung across the mantel, candles flickering softly in every room. We set the table, carefully placing every dish, making sure everything was perfect. There was this one spot, though, that bugged me. It was a small bookshelf tucked in the corner of the living room, under a framed photo of my parents' wedding. It didn't look out of place, but something about it felt wrong. I don't know why, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right in that corner of the room. Maybe it was just nerves. I wanted everything to go perfectly after all, but I kept looking at that spot. Something about the way the bookshelf was angled made me uneasy. I kept brushing it off. It wasn't until Christmas Eve, when the house was quiet, that I finally decided to check it out. Emma had gone to bed early, exhausted from all the cooking and preparations, and I was downstairs cleaning up. I had just vacuumed the living room when I saw it, a small black dot partially hidden behind one of the books. I thought at first it was just a dust speck, but when I leaned closer, I saw the lens of a camera. At first I froze. I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. But there it was, a hidden camera, no bigger than a ping pong ball, attached to the bookshelf at the perfect angle to capture everything in the room. The realization hit me like a freight train. Who the hell would put a camera there? I immediately checked the rest of the room, my mind racing. Could there be more? Was this some kind of joke? I didn't want to believe it, but there was no denying it. It was real. I pulled it down, my hands shaking as I examined it. There were wires running from it to a small portable recorder I hadn't noticed at first, tucked into the bottom shelf. I unplugged everything, turning the camera over in my hands, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. That's when the panic set in. Someone had been watching me, watching us, watching everything. And then it clicked. Jess. She had been acting strange the last few weeks, like she was trying to gather information, asking questions about Emma, about how we were doing. But I never suspected she'd go this far. I don't know why, but I waited until Christmas morning to confront her. Maybe I didn't want to ruin the day. Maybe I was still in denial, trying to convince myself it was some weird misunderstanding. But by the time everyone arrived, I couldn't keep it in any longer. I had to know. As soon as Jess walked in, I pulled her aside, trying to keep my voice steady. We need to talk. She blinked at me, her face flushing slightly. What's wrong? I didn't waste time. I found the camera. The one you put in the living room. Why the hell would you do that? Her face shifted. The mask slipped. At first, she tried to laugh it off. What camera? You've been watching too many crime shows. But I wasn't buying it. Stop lying. I found it. The camera in the bookshelf. I know it was you. For a moment, she just stared at me, her mouth opening and closing like she was trying to come up with some excuse. Then, with a deep sigh, she finally said, I was worried about you. Worried about me? What are you talking about? I asked, confused. I know you've been distant. You've changed since you met Emma. I wanted to know what was really going on. Why you've been so different. It took me a minute to process what she was saying. So you thought spying on me was the answer? She avoided my eyes, running a hand through her hair. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I thought if I knew what was going on with you, I could help. But you've pushed me away. You've pushed everyone away. I just wanted to understand. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The anger bubbled up and I had to bite my tongue to keep from screaming. You wanted to understand? By watching me like some kind of criminal? Jess, this isn't normal. You don't get to invade my privacy like this. You don't get to do this to me. She bit her lip, clearly struggling with what to say next. I'm sorry, I really am. But I can't help feeling like you've changed into someone I don't know anymore, and I don't know how to fix that. Her words stung, but I had to admit there was some truth to them. I had changed. My life had changed. Emma had become my priority, and I'd started building a future with her. But I didn't need to be spied on. I needed support. I needed my family to trust me, not treat me like I was some stranger they couldn't understand. I looked at her, heart heavy. You want to fix this? Stop spying on me. Stop trying to control everything in my life. I'm not the same person I was, but that doesn't mean I'm not still your brother. If you want to be in my life, you have to respect me. Respect my choices. Jess didn't say anything for a long time. She just stared at the floor. I could see her jaw working as if she were trying to hold back tears, but she didn't cry. Finally, she nodded. I'm sorry, I'll stop. I don't know how to handle it. I don't know how to handle you being happy with someone else. Her words hit me like a punch, and suddenly, everything fell into place. Jess wasn't mad because I'd changed. She was mad because I was moving forward. She was mad because I was building a life that didn't revolve around her. I need space from all of this, I said, my voice quieter now. I need time to figure this out. I'm not asking you to understand, but I'm asking you to respect it. The room fell into a tense silence, and I could feel the weight of it pressing down on both of us. I had no idea how we would move forward, but at least now I knew what the real issue was. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was taking control of my life again. The tension lingered in the air long after our conversation. Jess didn't say anything else that Christmas Day, and neither did I. I kept my distance while Emma tried to keep things as normal as possible, pushing through with the holiday cheer. But inside, I could feel the cracks deepening. It wasn't just about the camera anymore. It was about the layer of betrayal that had been buried underneath all those years of what I thought was a normal family dynamic. Jess left early that day. She didn't say goodbye, just grabbed her coat and walked out the door. I watched her through the window as she walked down the driveway, her head down, hands shoved in her pockets. I could see her shoulders sagging, defeated. And for a brief moment, I felt the tiniest flicker of sympathy for her. But that sympathy was fleeting because the truth was still sitting there like an open wound. I didn't know who she was anymore. I didn't know what to feel. Was she still my sister, or had I lost her completely? The next few days were silent. Jess didn't call, and neither did anyone else in my family. I tried reaching out to my mom, but every time I picked up the phone, I put it back down. What was I supposed to say? Hey, I found a hidden camera in my house, and it was my sister who put it there. It was the kind of conversation that would tear everything apart, not heal it. But Emma, she was the one who kept me grounded. She didn't back away. She didn't let me spiral. She held me when the weight of it all became too much, and she didn't try to fix it. She just listened. Sometimes that's all we need, someone to hear the pain without rushing to make it better. Do you think she'll come around? I asked Emma one night lying in bed, the ceiling dark above us. I don't know, she said softly, but you don't have to wait for her to do that. You're not responsible for how she feels or how she behaves. You've done your part. Now you get to decide what's next for you. And that hit me harder than anything she'd said before. Now I get to decide. For so long I had let my family dictate my choices, my actions, my relationships. Even after the divorce, even after everything fell apart, I still tried to make things right with them. But this was different. This wasn't about making peace with them. It was about choosing what was healthy for me and Emma, and letting go of the people who had shown me their true colors. A week passed. I didn't hear from Jess. I kept getting messages from cousins, distant relatives, people who seemed to know about the incident before I did. Everyone had an opinion about what happened, but no one seemed to really understand the depth of the betrayal. They only saw the surface, two siblings fighting, a secret uncovered. They didn't see the camera. They didn't see the years of manipulation, the guilt that had been heaped on me for wanting to move forward with my life. Then, 3 days before New Year's Eve, Jess called. Can we talk? She asked, her voice shaky. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I was ready to hear what she had to say, or if it would just make everything worse. But I agreed. She came over the next afternoon. When I opened the door, she looked different, more tired, more worn out. She wasn't wearing the defiance I'd seen before, the I don't care attitude that had kept her distant. Now she looked like she'd been carrying a weight, something heavy, and I didn't know if it was the guilt or the realization that she had crossed a line she couldn't uncross. I'm sorry, she said, the words coming out in a rush. I've been a horrible sister. I don't even know what got into me. I don't know why I did what I did. She stopped, wiped her eyes, and took a deep breath. I've been so jealous of you, of your life, your relationship with Emma, and I thought if I knew everything, I could fix it somehow. But I was wrong. I hurt you. I just stood there watching her, the anger I had been holding on to slowly starting to fade, not because I was ready to forgive her, but because I realized something. She was broken too. She had spent so long hiding her insecurities, her fear of being left behind, that she had done the one thing she never should have done. She violated my privacy. But that wasn't the full picture. It was her way of clinging to something, anything, that made her feel like she mattered. I don't know if I can trust you again, I said softly. But I want to. I want to believe you. I want to have my sister back. Jess nodded, tears spilling down her face. I don't deserve your trust, but I'll work for it. I'll do whatever it takes to show you I'm sorry. It wasn't an immediate fix. It wasn't a magic moment where everything just clicked back into place. It took time, a lot of time. There were conversations I didn't know how to have, wounds I didn't know how to heal. But over the next few weeks, we began to rebuild something. It wasn't the same relationship we had before. It couldn't be, but it was something new, something better. And Emma? She stood by me the entire time. She understood when I needed space, when I needed time to process. But she also reminded me that family wasn't just about blood, it was about connection. And if Jess was willing to change, to show she could be trusted again, then maybe there was hope. By New Year's Eve, things had settled. Not perfectly, but better. Jess was no longer a ghost in the background, hiding behind her resentments. She was present. She was trying. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I had a chance at rebuilding my relationship with her. Not because I was forced to, but because we both wanted it. I won't lie, it wasn't easy. We still had our moments, our disagreements, but it was progress, real progress. And that night, when the clock struck midnight and we shared a quiet moment with just our family, I felt something I hadn't in a long time: peace. Because I had finally found my way back to the people who mattered most, even when the path was littered with betrayals, secrets, and broken trust. And the best part? I didn't have to pretend anymore. I didn't have to be the fun one, the one who kept the peace with laughter. I could be myself, flawed, imperfect, but real. And that, I realized, was enough. The camera was gone. The lies were out in the open, and my sister and I had started rebuilding. It wasn't perfect. It would never be perfect. But it was ours. And in the end, that's all I could ask for.